Welcome to the exciting rebirth of Superstar, featuring choose your membership rate as low as just $3 a month. At Superstar, you get expanded, exclusive video scopes each and every week, unlimited access to special horoscopes, class passes for Synchronicity University, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the Superstar space. I look forward to meeting you there. Hello, fabulous superstar Scorpio. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of December 2022. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. It is a remarkable astrological week, without a doubt. Big moves happening in the sky now. And it is going to be on the 8th of the month that we will have this month's full moon. And boy, is this a special one. Your ancient ruling planet, Mars, right now retrograde, is hand in hand, tightly conjunct this full moon, essentially magnifying, sharing energies. A full moon in general heightens emotion. Now you add Mars into the mix, it brings that much more adrenaline as well. And it is this full moon taking place in a part of the sky for you that has to do with profound change, profound truth. It has to do with your understanding of the resources within you, your understanding of wealth, your relationship to financial institutions, your understanding of power, and your understanding of the taboo. So you can see here, this part of the sky is very rich, and its symbolism correlates with some of your life path lessons as well, which would be magnified at a time like this. That retrograde Mars is bringing a sense of determination, but also urgency to integrating and understanding these lessons more deeply. I do love that this full moon does have Saturn speaking in supreme harmony with it. And so Saturn moving through the foundation of your chart does suggest that for all the truth coming forward, all the emotion rising to the surface now, something within you is steady. It's like the foundations of your life, of your soul are strong, and that there is a strong sense with you now of awareness around how much you actually do have a presence of self-love, a presence of being able to be at home with yourself that helps you to truly understand some very deep truths about you that can be a force of transformation in your life now and a force of power. However, we've also got Neptune speaking with this full moon, and that energy can get a little bit tricky because that can be energy of some disappointment or sadness as well. Chances are emotions are flowing very strongly now. There may be an overwhelming of emotion, and so if you need to allow some cleansing tears to come forward, that's okay. It's all part of you reclaiming your power in some way, and again, defining it for yourself. Because your relationship with financial institutions is covered here, this might be a time when you are having to pay attention to a financial matter. Whether it is addressing a previous loan or grant, or whether it has to do with you trying to secure funding, it does look like that is a part of your focus now. And if that's the case, you are able to make the greatest strides when it is that you show a mature and established approach. And so you're able to approach things from a place of understanding the protocol, understanding the logistics, and rooting it in what it is that you've already proven. That is where you're able to make that many more gains at a time like this as well. Most are going to find this deeply honest and deeply transformative. This full moon is one that'll stay with you for a long time to come. And because your ancient ruling planet is so precisely in alignment with this full moon, so precisely exact, hand in hand with this full moon, what it is that evolves for you now, what it is that is illuminated for you now, it changes you. It is deeply important to you beyond just what's happening in some area of life. The potential is here for you to reclaim your power in a way that stays with you for a very long time to come. It is going to be on the 23rd of the month that we will have this month's new moon. And this new moon takes place in a part of the sky for you that has to do with siblings, cousins, and neighbors. And it has to do with communication and conversation. Now, this is an area of life that is going to come into focus very powerfully over the course of this month. We've got this new moon. Now, this new moon is happening at the very beginning of this part of the sky. So that amplifies its sense of new beginnings and new possibilities. Whether it is a fresh start in your relationship with these types of people that I just mentioned, or whether it is a renewed sense of the things that you desire to learn or express or communicate. It can also be you getting more active in your neighborhood in some way, and as a result, making very spontaneous and synchronistic connections at this time. The people that you do connect with now, or you do feel that sense of a fresh start with now, remember, this is a very beginning. It is a spark. It is a seed that is going to more fully come to fruition in the months ahead. This new moon could also bring with it opportunities to teach, to speak, to write, to communicate, to express, to share what it is that you uniquely have to share in a way that ends up feeling especially rewarding to you at a time like this as well. This ultimately does say that you are understanding differently than you did before in a very literal way. But like I said, this part of the sky is going to be very lit up. On the 10th of the month, Venus moves into this part of the sky. And it is in the last days of the month that Mercury will go retrograde in this part of the sky as well. Because this part of the sky also has to do with contracts and agreements. And like I said, conversation, well, let me just say, as we bring the month and therefore the year to a close, all of that can start to get rather wacky. And so if anybody out there should be that much more mindful of the different ways in which communication can be interpreted, it really should be you, especially as we progress further towards the later part of the month. Now, where it comes to matters of love, we have got some really beautiful energy here for you and important energy as well. It is the day before the new moon on the 22nd that Venus will speak in supreme harmony with Uranus. And Uranus is in your opposite sign where Venus is. It's a very synchronistic part of the sky. So I feel like there are going to be surprise and delightful developments in the context of love in a way that feels really hopeful and expansive and exciting as well. But it is as we get to the end of the month that in some ways the sky is going to begin to mirror what was taking place a year ago in December. And it was back then that Venus and Pluto were mighty close in the sky, as they will be again. And so whatever's taking place as we start to bring the month to a close may in some way hearken to, speak to what was taking place a year earlier. And this is going to be an opportunity for you to see the events of a year earlier differently in some way, to transform your interpretation. For those of you open to meeting someone new, I do think that it is in those very spontaneous moments as you're out and about that you're most likely to make love connections or romantic connections. The online environment as well can work well. However, remember, we are going to have Mercury going retrograde in the same part of the sky as we start to bring the month to a close. And what that suggests is if you are meeting people online or in your neighborhood, what you think you're getting and what the actual truth is may end up being very different. So you just want to be mindful of that as well. But for all that, it really is through mind that you're able to reach heart that much more. As we move towards the end of the month, you may end up hearing or spontaneously interacting with someone with whom you might have had an interaction or interest in just a year earlier. For those of you just starting to date somebody, I do love how communicative so much of the energy is as we start to move further and further into the month. However, you do want to be a little bit mindful here with that Mercury retrograde energy. You're possibly hearing what it is that you want. At the same time, with all that intensity, every word, every conversation can take on greater importance, especially as we move towards the last days of the month and that Venus-Pluto energy starts to kick in. It is the full moon earlier in the month, though, that may indicate an increase of intimacy that helps you to get to know this person better and maybe feel more invested. In some way, you're getting in touch with some truth about what you really feel about this person. For some Scorpios, what you learn at the full moon could be a deal breaker, which means that as we navigate later in the month, it's someone new that you're connecting with at that time. And for those of you in an established bond, what a powerful time this can be. As we move towards that full moon, it is possible that your partner's finances come into focus in some way, or you and your partner are able to be more honest, more vulnerable with each other in a way that strengthens the bond. For a very small percentage of Scorpios out there, if you felt for a while that maybe you're not in the right relationship for you, it is going to be that very energy of that full moon that's going to help you to get more deeply honest about where it is you are desiring change. As we navigate later into the month, it could be key conversations that you were having earlier, just a year earlier, that the two of you return to in some way. What I love about this month for you, there's so much here. It is a valuable and meaningful astrological moment. I'm going to say that full moon, I think that's going to end up being such an important energy for you without a doubt. It is deeply honest. It is deeply transformative, and it helps you to recognize the wealth that is playing out in your life. It helps you to get very vulnerable with yourself and with others. And it is through vulnerability and honest sharing that you're able to facilitate that much more positive change in your life now. Well, thank you so much for watching. You can get a video like this each and every week for each and every sign for as low as just $3 a month with Choose Your Membership rate. Higher tiers get you things like all access passes to Synchronicity University events, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the superstar space at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com. I look forward to meeting you there. Thank you again for watching. It'll be a great month. Enjoy.